show, but Miss Kate said no. I'll tell you what you can do. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Katie Casey saw all the games, knew the players by their first names, told the umpire he was wrong all along, good and strong. When the score was just 2-2, Katie Casey knew what to do. Just to cheer up the boys she knew, she made the gang sing this song. Take me out to the ball game, take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this live Orioles BirdWatcher special event. How you doing, everybody? It is opening day eve. Opening day eve. Folks, look where I am. I'm already here. I beat you to the punch. Somehow I made it from Thailand to Toronto in record time. Here I am, the decent lower deck seat, waiting for the game to start. How you doing? It's better than Christmas. It is. Folks, let me break something to you. There is no better holiday. There is no better, day on the calendar in a given year. I don't care about any other day compared to opening day of baseball. It is a special day. Even though it seems to rain half the time, I don't care. I don't know. I think a lot of other people look at New Year's as sort of like that, a fresh start and wipe the slate clean and set new goals and be optimistic and all that good stuff. A lot of people say New Year's is that. It's spring. It's opening day for me. New Year's is depressing. I don't know, because I just feel and with New Year's, I just feel like I'm getting older. That's the only real, it's another year. That means I'm older. But the opening day, it's the new, it's fresh. Fresh. I'm not fresh. I'm 47. I'll be 48 in 2 months. I'm not fresh. All right? But opening day is opening day. I mean, look at the Rogers Center here. Look at this beautiful, well, maybe it's not all that beautiful. It's kind of it looked pretty cool in 1990. I don't know. They've made some renovations. Remember back when this place first opened and everybody was amazed that it had a putt-putt golf course somewhere in the stadium or something? Now it's just go to any ballpark and there's all kinds of funny little quirks going on. But anyway, we're going to just be hanging out tonight. We're going to go over the final pieces of news and notes as the Orioles get set to play the Blue Jays. You can see the start time. Well, that's my start time, which is 2:07 a.m. for me. But for you, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, you need to be over here on the BirdWatcher channel. If you got the game, have the game on. Turn the volume down. Have me on. We're going to have some fun on opening day. My next door neighbor, he's been lucky. The Monday game against the Nationals got rained out, so I didn't really have a game to call in the last couple of nights, including this one. No games. So he's had a few days to, have a nice, quiet, peaceful night's sleep or whatever it is he needs. But in about, what is it? In about 19 hours, all bets are off, my neighbor, because the game is for real now. No emotions being held back. I can't. I can't. They're coming to take me away. Haha. They're going to put me in a straitjacket with the way I get emotional with my Orioles. I love the Orioles. I don't know if you saw that in the title of the video, but I love the Baltimore Orioles. I just want that to be known, okay? This isn't like a gimmick YouTube channel where it's like, oh, I see an opportunity. This looks like something that could make me a YouTube star. No, I just really love the Orioles. I'm just hoping maybe I can make a channel out of it. So far, so good. There's the sub count. And we're going to try to shoot for 5,000 by the end of this season. The hope is that on opening day, we're going to have a nice little push with the subs. I don't know how many people are here right now. It's probably a very small turnout. This isn't exactly kind of thing. Only the hardcore baseball fans who just cannot wait are probably the ones that are here tonight. We got 14 people. Thanks for being here, folks. It's okay. Look, I'm ready to just talk about it, sip on my coffee, enjoy my morning here. Maybe I should take this baggie off of this. Looks kind of white trash, wouldn't you? All right. Povich is not going for the Birds tomorrow. Dingleberry, he is pitching a opening start, but it's the home opener. He will start Game 5, which is the first game against the Red Sox on Monday. Okay? This is the rotation. It is now completely set. There was one question left. Who would start Game 3? Who would start Game 4 between Dean Kramer and Tomoyuki Sagano? That decision has been made today. And, they had a 50-50 shot of making me happy. And unfortunately, they didn't. Because they had an opportunity to have Sagano pitch Game 3, which would match him up against Max Scherzer. And for me, I just think that's great for baseball. Sagano is a very decorated pitcher from Japan. He's very likely going to make their Hall of Fame. You got Scherzer, who's very well on his way to making the Hall of Fame here. They're both veterans, grizzled, chiseled, and whatever rhymes with those words type of guys. And I just think that would have been a great matchup, but that's not what we're going to get. So it's going to be Charlie Morton on Game 2. Dean Kramer will pitch Game 3. Morton versus Kevin Gossman. Dean Kramer against Scherzer. And then on the Sunday game, it'll be Sagano against Chris Bassett. So Blue Jays have a good rotation. There's no doubt about it. You know, they've had a very stable and steady rotation. At least, the first four guys, Bassett, Gossman, Barrios, and who am I missing? I already said his name. Gossman, Scherzer. Of course, they went out and got Max Scherzer. So let's talk about another big piece of news. There are a couple of spots left in the roster that was left open in terms of who was going to get it. One being an infield spot, mainly to sit on the bench and wait for Gunnar Henderson to get healthy and come back, which may only take about 5 games before he's back, maybe Game 6. That's my projection is Game 6, because that's the second game against Boston, and we've got a Monday opening day, and then Tuesday's a day off, so that's an extra day for Gunnar with no game, and then I think he makes his debut on that game after the day off, which is the second game against Boston, which would also line us up for Garrett Crochet. So it'd be great to get Gunnar back in the lineup against one of the tougher arms out there, at least we think. We'll see how good Garrett Crochet is. I mean, I know he's got really, really nasty stuff, and I'm sure he's going to pitch lights out for the first dozen or so starts of the season. For me, what I'm questioning about Garrett Crochet, and the reason why I wasn't that highly interested in trying to go after him in a trade, is in his career so far, he just hasn't really built up the kind of innings to make you feel like this guy's going to give you 30-plus starts and approach 180 or more innings. And for me, if you're going to make a guy, like, anoint him your ace and trade away a bunch of prospects for, like the guy, I want that guy to be just a little more, I don't know, a little more endurance, a little more track record, you know. I know he's good when he's healthy and he's on the mound, but we'll see. He's definitely going to start against us. By the way, if you didn't catch the news on the last broadcast, which was the rain out against the Nationals, Corbin Burns, boy, a really, really stupid situation playing out in Arizona where because of the fact that Burns pitched 6 days before opening day, he's not willing to just take an extra day's rest and take the opening day start. He says, I've got a very strict regiment, and that means instead of pitching on opening day, because he's going to pitch the last game before that or a side session or whatever it is, he's not going to pitch until game 5, which is just nuts. This guy's got nearly $250 million. You're telling me you can't just, I mean, first of all, in the regular season, right, you have built-in off days. Last year, we had Corbin Burns. We would have situations where he would pitch, and then sometime between that start and the next start, there would be an off day in the middle. It's not like we skipped another guy in the rotation and kept Burns on 4 days rest every single start. I kind of wish we had, because we might have been able to squeeze 1 or 2 more starts out of him, but we didn't. So he showed last season that when there's a built-in off day, you can have 5 days rest instead of 4, go out there and pitch, 6 days between starts. That would be the situation he would have if he were to just pitch opening day, but apparently he can't do it. It reminds me a lot of last season when Marcus Stroman was asked by the Yankees to start on opening day, and he's like, yeah, that just doesn't really jive with my schedule, though. It's like, really? Like the New York Yankees are asking you to be the opening day starter. It's kind of an honor, I mean, as much as I hate the Yankees, they went out there last winter. They signed you. They gave you the contract. Now they want to ask you because, Garrett Cole's down for the half season or whatever it was. Long story short, look, I'm not saying I wouldn't have been happy to have Corbin Burns on this pitching staff, obviously, but knowing how much money and how many years we had to lock in, knowing the volatility of injuries with pitchers, and then now knowing that he wants to have these sort of like prima donna kind of situations, what, because you're getting paid so much? Like, if anything, I would be the opposite. If you gave me $250 million, I would adjust a lot of things for you. You know what I mean? But anyway, whatever. Let's look at the Charm City chat here. We got a poll up. And also, by the way, if you are interested, I'm going to open up the Discord. The link is in the one of these boxes at the top. But absolutely free. It's a place to hang out when the games aren't on and talk Orioles baseball. We've got plenty of people over there. That Discord's getting more and more active as time goes on. But tonight, I know I'm going to at least get Rob on the phone because I made him say, I'll do it. Because maybe that'll at least make it comfortable for 1 or 2 more of you to join in and give it a chance, because I want to hear from you guys. I mean, most of the time when I'm calling games, it's not like a podcast where I'm sitting here and just discussing baseball and the state of things. But when I am doing something like this, I definitely want to get your guys' opinion and hear from you. Because I got opinions, obviously. I like to think most of them are pretty spot on, but doesn't mean I want to hear other perspectives, because that's how you learn, folks. When you start to hear other people give you an opinion, sometimes you go, well, that's actually a pretty good point. Why didn't I think of that particular point? And then make an adjustment. Doesn't necessarily mean you flip-flop on something. It just, right, that's a little bit more information. Let me adjust my opinion on this. That's why I like to have folks. But you know how it is with sports. For some reason, everybody gets a little, my opinion is really the... No, don't worry about it. Hopefully it's optimistic, all right? Because if you do come on and you're going to tell me that we're in a battle for 4th place and all, I'm just going to chuckle. I hope you don't mind. I'll tell you this. What do we got here in the chat? Maybe you guys. By the way, if you do want to get my attention, I've got the chat over here on the side. I know it's on the screen here too, but I can't read that. It's too small. I don't have my full setup today because it's just why bother the extra effort. But yeah, just mention me, or you can even all caps it if you need to. If you want to shoot me a question or bring up a topic you want to discuss. Let's start with this. I wrote a few down in the Discord. I'll kick things off. Oh, I did forget to mention. I jump all over the place. So those 2 remaining spots that I was beginning to talk about and then went on 25 different tangents, we pretty much know who those 2 spots are going to without it being official yet, because Orioles press has arrived in Toronto. They're in the Orioles locker room. Currently in the locker room, Livan Soto has a locker, right? Jorge Mateo, who is the, thought to be guy to get the spot if he's healthy enough, he does not have a locker. So that would lead one to deduce that Livan Soto is going to be on the opening day roster as the backup infielder. And I think it makes a lot of sense, because if you stash Mateo on the injured list, when Gunnar comes back, you don't necessarily have to make a tough decision, because Gunnar comes up, Soto goes down, and Mateo could still stay down until we really need another backup infielder, because otherwise we probably have to send Heston Kjerstad down, or we'd have to make a cut. And who are you cutting from this team? Because it's built quite well. You're not going to cut Ramon Laureano. You just signed him to a $5 million deal. You're not cutting Ramon Arias. You're not. So I think the best thing to do is just stash Mateo on the D. I know it's kind of unfair for Mateo to maybe keep him on the DL a little bit longer than he needs to be, but what that'll do is, say you do that for a couple of weeks, give everybody that you've built this team going into the season a chance to, do what they do, and if somebody is struggling super bad after a couple of weeks, then maybe it'll make it a more. Let's say Kjerstad really struggles. If Kjerstad really struggles in the first couple of weeks, then that would be a much easier decision once Gunnar, Gunnar will be back before a couple of weeks. But all I'm saying is there's a little bit of a window in there, and I think if you keep Mateo on the injured list until you know that once you bring him in, you're going to keep him there, I think that might be the smart move. Obviously, you want that speed of his on the bench, but again, we've got a way around that. If you want that speed on the bench, then let's just start Sed Mullins only, maybe 2 out of 4 of these games in Toronto, and let's go with an outfield of Tyler O'Neill, Colton Cowser, and Heston Kjerstad, and Mullins can come in late in the ball game, replace Kjerstad in the outfield. You got the upgrade on defense. Cowser shifts to the corner, Mullins in center, and then, before he makes that appearance, he comes on as a pinch runner for Kjerstad or for somebody else. So there's a way to utilize Mullins. We know that he is, amongst our regulars, the weakest bat in the lineup. He just is. Everybody else has an opportunity to get an OPS of like 800 or better, or at least like 770 range, something like that. Mullins is more like a 700 flat OPS kind of a guy. Which, for a number 9 hitter on most teams is perfectly fine. A lot of people would love to have Mullins in their lineup, believe me. But we're blessed with a very strong lineup. This is Mullins' last season with us. So it's eventually going to be a situation where we're moving on from him anyway. And, yeah, I just feel if Mateo's not going to be on this team, if we want to keep all our guys and not make a tough cut, then that's your solution. Give Kjerstad a chance. Maybe Mullins starts 2 out of 4. Kjerstad starts 2 out of 4. You can't sit. Ryan Mountcastle is going to get some opportunities to sit against right-handed starters, and all of Toronto's starters are right-handed. So you would think in a 4-game series, maybe Mountcastle should sit once, but no, absolutely not. If anybody has any inkling of an understanding of just how good Ryan Mountcastle hits at the Rogers Center in Toronto, then no. Right hand, I don't care if they're pitching with two right hands. I know that makes no sense, but the point is you can't sit Mountcastle in this opening series. He ended spring red hot. He led the team in the spring with home runs and RBI, and he's about to face the team he loves to face the most. So, yeah, if Kjerstad's going to get into this series, it's not going to be in a situation where O'Hearn plays first and Mountie sits and Kjerstad DHs and Mullins is in center field. You're going to have to sit Mullins if you're going to get Kjerstad in there, right? So that would be my plan. Mateo doesn't make the team. It looks like that's the case. So if you want that speed weapon and also defensive replacement late, an upgrade, you got Mullins. It's a luxury. It's a luxury, you know. But let's take advantage of it. So on the flip side, because we are facing four right-handed starters, the likes of Ramon Laureano probably won't even be seen except maybe in a pinch-hitting role late against a lefty reliever. That's probably it for him. Ramon Arias is probably going to start at least 3 of the 4 games because of the absence of Gunnar Henderson. I'm gonna guess that he starts 3, and they're gonna give Livan Soto 1 start. The main reason being, you want to give Soto one chance, and the fact that we're facing 4 right-handed pitchers and Soto bats lefty while Arias is a righty, it'll give you a chance to get 1 extra lefty bat in there, and again, just give Soto a shot for one of these games that he's with the team, because it may not be a very long stay before he's sent back to the minors. Speaking of going back to the minors, by the way, one of our favorite, if not our very, very favorite story this spring, you know who I'm talking about.
Hey, I'm just a love machine, and I don't work for nobody but you.
The male machine has been reassigned to the minors, okay? So that was something that I didn't even bother to look into. I was questioning whether or not we had options with him. If he didn't make this team, that we could still retain him and keep him in the minors, because I like what I saw from him, especially at the plate. And the answer is yes. He is still a part of the Orioles organization. That gives us some added depth. But if you recall, when we were looking at Luis Vasquez, Livan Soto, and Machine, and assuming that it was going to be one of those 3 to make the team, who told you that it was going to be Livan Soto? Despite the fact that Machine was offensively the better guy and Vasquez defensively was probably the better guy, who said Soto? Who said Soto was making? I did. All right? So I got that one right. Now, the other remaining position. Who will win the AL East? The Baltimore Orioles. The other position left is in the bullpen, right-handed reliever, and it was down between Matt Bowman and Brian Baker, and we got a similar situation with the Soto and Mateo situation, which is currently right now in this very stadium in the clubhouse, there is no locker for Matt Bowman. There is a locker for Brian Baker. So there's your answer. Brian Baker appears to be the final bullpen arm. He will join Sir Anthony Dominguez and Ynier Cano as the 3 middle relief right-handers. The 3 middle relief lefties will be Cianel Perez, Gregory Soto, and Keegan Aiken. And then you've got Bautista as your closer and Suarez as your long man. So there you go. Those are your 8 arms in the pen. Got your 5 starters. Once again, 1 through 5 to start the season. Eflin on opening day. Morton game 2. Kramer game 3. Sagano game 4. And Povich game 5. There's your 26-man roster, folks. Are you ready? Let me check on that. I'm going to go through some of these other let's see. Kyle Gibson has been optioned to minor league camp, which is part of the, agreement with the contract, was that he was going to get ready in the minors and called up when needed. He is depth. He's not necessarily, when ready, going to just take somebody else's spot in the rotation. If somebody is struggling or if somebody gets injured, then he's your guy. But it's going to take that, I would think. Otherwise, maybe they find a space for him in the pen if somebody's struggling there. There's ways for Gibson to get in, but look, once he's ready to join the team, even if he's not actively on the roster, he can be with the team, like in the dugout, in the clubhouse, as a mentor and a clubhouse guy. And I feel like that's just as much of value that he brings to this team as what he does on the mound. He was a very positive influence on the team that won 101 games a couple of seasons ago. Everybody talks highly of him as a good clubhouse guy. So I'm happy to have him added as some depth to the team. Hey, here's an announcement. Folks, remember the classic early 70s all-orange Oriole jerseys? Guess what? They're back. That's right, folks. Take a look at that. Ha ha! Folks, I tell you this, it's going to make it a lot easier to see these guys on the field when they're wearing these. And I would go out and buy myself one of these uniforms, but with my body type, I would look like a traffic cone with eyes. And yeah, a 6'3" traffic cone walking around in Thailand might make people a little bit nervous. But the Orioles will be debuting this jersey on what they call Orange Out Saturdays. Is it Orange Out? Or what the hell is it called? Yeah, Orange Out Saturdays. The club will host every Saturday home game throughout the season, accompanied by live music from the Coors Light stage at Legends Park prior to each game. While fans are encouraged to don their orange each Saturday, they can also visit the Orange Store. Nice ad. By Section 82, the one-stop shop for everything orange. Or peruse the orange merchandise displays in the team store. Okay, this is just an ad. Come on, man. Brick and Whistle, various food beverage partners will offer orange-themed options, including orange crushes, orange chicken, and orange-themed sweet treats. All right, we might be taking this a little bit too far. The club recently announced that they will bring back their orange-on-orange uniforms. Okay. Hey, another thing to go over. So the left field wall, the renovation is completely finished. And I was a little bit curious as to what they were doing with that space, that about 8-foot gap between the new wall and where the seats, the natural seats begin. They built like a couple of platforms there. It's sort of like a glass railing, and it's divided into two different segments. Well, if you didn't know already, I'm going to let you know. The area that's from the foul pole stretching out toward where the splash zone used to be, that 2/3 of the wall, that platform is going to be available for children who are sitting in the 3 sections directly behind it. Parents can escort kids 12 and under to hang out in that sort of home run porch, and they can sit there and shag home runs from Adley and Gunnar going Oppo or Tyler O'Neill. I got a feeling O'Neill's homers are probably going to go over their heads. They'll probably get some Urias homers, a couple of Westberg homers in there. And then the segment to the right is basically the splash zone just doubled in size. Instead of just that one skinny little section that was adjacent to the bullpen area, it now stretches out to the second section, which, by the way, that section's like twice as large. So it's really triple the size. So Mr. Splash is going to have about 15, 20 yards of side-to-side mobility in order to get everybody nice and wet. I love the idea. I love the idea for the kids. I love the idea of expanding the splash zone and keeping that part of a new tradition. The only thing I would say about the left field wall area now, is that just maybe give it a little more color or flair or something. It looks kind of, maybe once it gets filled up with people, it'll look okay. But it just seems like, I don't know, put a bird logo out there somewhere. I don't know, something fun, especially if it's for kids. You know, I don't want it to be corny, but I don't know. It just feels like something's missing. Just add a little decorative piece to this whole thing, because right now it's just sort of like it's glass railing with not a whole lot going on. But I'm sure, yeah, we'll see what happens in the home opener. Cade Povich. All right, what else is going on? I think somebody was posting their preferred lineup. So yeah, that's something we can do. If you got lineups you want to go over, we can do that. Let me run through this whole damn thing because I am not paying enough attention. The idea was to talk to you guys, but I wanted to get through all the information that I have here first so that everybody's up to speed. And I think I'm almost done in terms of important news. I'm not going to talk about the hot dog races. I don't care. Jackson Holliday's home run ball's got a plaque on Utah Street. Yeah. Ced Mullins T-shirt giveaway is on April 12th. That's the same day as the orange out. So if you go April 12th against the Blue Jays, you get a Ced Mullins shirt and you get to see the all-orange Orioles. That would be a good game to go to. Okay, so another little piece of information. Juan Nunez, who you probably don't know too much about, he did pitch a little bit for us in the spring. He's actually been bumped up a little bit in the prospect chart for us. He was selected by the Padres in the Rule 5 draft, and if you know about Rule 5, basically you can't protect all your players, and if they're not protected, then another team can draft that player, and they can keep that player, but what they have to do is that player has to stay on the Major League roster for the entire season. Anthony Santander is a famous Rule 5 draft pick that worked out fantastic for us. But yeah, the situation here is the Padres are not going to stick with him, which means he comes back to us. He's back in our system. And Juan Nunez, again, a name that's probably not going to matter a whole lot this year, but down the road could be a factor. Hey, by the way, wait, Cade Povich just put out a poll? What is this? Oh, I guess he did a poll of which nickname he should go with, Piano Man or Real Slim Shady. Of course you're the Slim Shady. Come on, Slim. Actually, I have my own nickname for Cade. It's Cade, Don't Call Me Shirley Povich. Now, if you know the double meaning behind that, then you would agree that that's a perfect nickname. And I'll be using it during the season. You better believe it. All right, so I'm going to start looking for questions and things here. Gunnar got hurt in spring. Can't believe he can't go. Yeah, it's like a lat issue. You know, the way they said at the beginning that it wasn't serious, and the fact that he got like 6 at-bats in the spring and has basically been out for a month, that seems pretty serious to me. I feel like they failed to really tell us the truth about the severity of the injury at the time. But as long as they're being honest about the fact that, you know, he's on the 7-day DL, right? So, and yeah, he should be ready for the Boston series. I just wish they were a little bit more, I don't know, transparent about that. Being in an area where I can't get Massa, and I appreciate the coverage, BW. Hey, you're welcome, Travis. That's part of the reason this channel exists. I know there's a lot of people like me out there that live in different parts of the world or just don't have access to watch the game. So I love calling the games. I love sharing the experiences and the highs and lows with you guys. So no need to thank me, but I do appreciate it. Kurt's channel, hello. How are you? Everybody talking about where they're from. Regimen, not regiment. Sorry. Sorry for the T. Thank you. We've got one of those. We got one of those in the chat. Folks, let me reset the entire stream because you might have heard a t at the end of a word that you knew what it meant anyway. Anyway, let's see. Agreed, cable is a joke. Yeah, folks, I'm at least better than cable, right? I followed BW last year. He is very knowledgeable about the game. Thanks, Dingleberry. Emoji system is classic. But don't forget about the soundboard. You talking about the soundboard?
Samuel!
Hey, you watch me every day.
I think the Red Sox are going to take the division. We'll end up fighting the Yankees for second. Yeah, I totally think the Red Sox are a contender in this division, especially now that the Yankees, I think, are knocked down a peg. I already had, even before Garrett Cole's injury and Luis Gil's injury, I still felt like the Yankees, despite the additions they made, the one addition that really hurt the most, I think, was Devin Williams because, yeah, if we get into a ninth inning trailing by a run or two, Devin Williams is really tough to hit with that screwball. It's really, really nasty. He's one of the better closers out there. I mean, Clay Holmes, who's now going to be starting opening day for the Mets, crazy. But last year, we were able to get to Clay Holmes a couple of times. Remember that game in Baltimore where Mullins hit that fly ball over Verdugo's head? That was a game where Clay Holmes was in to close it out, and he blew it. So, but yeah, the Red Sox, what they did was they addressed their needs. They really did. They got two starters in the rotation, a lefty and a righty. They got one via trade. They got one via free agency. They needed a right-handed bat to replace Tyler O'Neill. They got that in Alex Bregman, and that also made their defense better by pushing Devers off of third base. And they've also got a couple of really nice, actually more than a couple, but a couple like ready to go right now prospects that if they pan out, yeah, this Red Sox team is going to be very, very competitive. But don't think the Orioles are overall the strongest team out there. They have to go out there and execute, but I think on paper, we have the strongest team. And guess what? MajorLeagueBaseball.com, I'm kind of shocked to say this, but they agree with me. You know why? Because yesterday they released their power rankings for opening day. Now, the power rankings don't necessarily mean this is the order of all the teams and how they'll finish. It just simply means these are the strongest teams in terms of overall 26 guys, who's got the best team out, who's built to win, right? And according to MLB.com, now I know, all of these, you can cherry pick one pundit's prediction and they say, oh, my team's going to win it all. And you can ignore the ones that say your team stinks or whatever. You can cherry pick. But for me, MLB.com, that's an amalgamation of, I'm sure, several different writers. And they say, here's your top 5 power rankings going into the season. At number 1 is the Dodgers. No surprise there. Number 2 is the Phillies. Number 3 is the Braves. Number 4 is the Mets. So 3 NL East teams in the top 4. You got the Dodgers, that is hands down the strongest team in baseball. Nobody's going to dispute that. Nobody. The 3 next teams, according to MLB.com power rankings, are in the NL East. Braves, Phillies at second, Braves third, and Mets number 4. Which means, well, when does the American League get any love? Who's the best team in the American League according to MLB.com? I'll tell you. It's us. Coming in at number 5, your Baltimore Orioles. All right? So for all the people out there that looked at our offseason and said, oh, my God, how did we let Corbin Burns walk, even though we really didn't let him walk? He was never going to play for us. It's quite obvious. Well, then why didn't we get a guy to replace him? Who? Max Fried was the next closest thing to an ace. The Yankees overpaid to get him. And, yeah, sorry we didn't spend 8 years and $200 million on Fried or whatever it is. All right. We did get a couple of guys in this rotation, though. Anyway, I digress. We're number 5, folks, and in terms of the American League, number 1 in the power rankings. So if we do our job, we win the division, we get a bye, and then what's most important than any other thing that happens for the next 6 months is that come October, we start winning some frickin' playoff games. Anybody ready for that? Good. Mounty's going to rake. He's just a love machine. 30 home runs, asking a lot. What for, yeah, my thing for Kjerstad is, like, get me 400 at-bats. Give him a way to get to 400 at-bats, because to me that's a fair amount for him to, get into, a rhythm. And, it's tough. You're trying to break into the bigs and be a part-time player at the same time. It's just not easy, But that's why I'm saying I think Mullins needs to just take a little bit of a step back, not start as often. With the left field wall moved in, it's not as important now to have a left fielder that's basically a center fielder like Kowser was for us. You can put O'Neill in left now and Kjerstad in right if you want. Kowser in center. You can do that. And you can do that in most ballparks. Maybe not like Seattle. That place is a very, very big outfield. I might not want Kjerstad in that field. But, like, for the most part, I think that outfield 3 can handle it defensively. It would be a downgrade. Don't get me wrong. Mullins out and Kjerstad in is an automatic downgrade in outfield defense. But as long as the downgrade in center field, which is Mullins to Kowser, isn't that significant? And I don't think it is. I think Kowser is a Gold Glove caliber outfielder. I really do. I think he got robbed not only of Rookie of the Year, but of a potential Gold Glove with the job he did last season. It's not that much of a downgrade. So, and then who was our right fielder last year? Santander. I mean, okay in the field. He wasn't a liability, but he wasn't exactly fantastic. So if Kjerstad winds up taking that role over, it's really not a downgrade all that much either. I'm talking a lot. Let me move on. Bowman going down to Norfolk, I'm not sure. Not sure on that. I can't remember. There was a weird situation where he had a way to opt out of a contract, and I guess it's sort of like a reset. So I really don't know. I would only be guessing, but I think we had a chance to option him down after we picked up the option. I don't know. I really don't know. If anybody knows, if anybody actually knows, feel free to tell the rest of the chat, because that's one I don't know. I'm a little worried about Morton. Yeah. I mean, it's natural. You got a pitcher in his 40s. I'm sure the Braves last season, their fans, when Morton came back for another he pitched 3 good seasons with him, I believe. 3, was it? But I'm sure every spring the fan base is going, well, this is the year Morton, the wheels fall off. And, of course, with every passing year, the chances of that coming true go up, because eventually you just can't do it anymore. And unfortunately, his last spring appearance gave up 4 straight hard-hit balls. It was not pretty to see. They're now asking him to be our number 2 starter, going up against Kevin Gossman on Friday. It's going to be that first start. It's going to be a little nervous. I won't lie. Toronto, the ball can fly out of there. You got to keep that ball on the ground. He's got to have a good curveball working. He's got to hit his spots. But it's going to be it's definitely going to be pins and needles for that first Morton start. So I feel you. Terrible. My opinion about as ugly as City Connects, Palmer and Robinson ain't playing anymore. Huh? Oh, you guys are. I'm so far behind. I'm almost caught up. Like the jersey, not so sure about the pants. Well, we already had the orange tops. It's all about the pants. That's what completes the look. All orange, baby. Maybe with the black tops and but not all that. Yeah, no, we're traffic cones. Okay, so here's B Ravens. If anybody else wants to type in their ideal lineup, whether it's for opening day or just in general, maybe against right-handed pitching or something. So this is now is this the order? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only see 7. I only see 8. Wait, you're missing somebody. You're missing a third baseman in this lineup. I'm assuming you're gonna. I know Westberg is third. Okay. So the shortstop. Well, Holliday's going to be at shortstop most likely. Westberg's probably going to be at second, and then Arias. You need a ninth guy in here in the infield, and that's likely who that's going to be. So you're saying O'Neill sits? You're saying Tyler O'Neill, the biggest bat we went out to pay for in the offseason, is going to sit on opening day when, by the way, he has 5 straight opening days hitting a home run. If there's one guy who's definitely not sitting on opening day, it's Tyler O'Neill. Trust me. Okay? But hey, I'm not here to reprimand you for your lineup. A lot of the names that we want to see are in there. I don't really like the thought of Mullins hitting leadoff. He's had a bad spring. His on-base percentage compared to a lot of these other guys, they've got a little more pop in the bat as well. I'd rather have Mullins at the bottom of the order, sort of as a second leadoff guy at the bottom. You know, that would be my change there. Crank the sprinklers. Always thought a spray painted wall would look insane, but I get why that. And yeah, you know, like a really cool like tagged wall there between the stands and the little midsection, sort of like the streets of Baltimore without the filth. I don't know. Is that possible? O's can be 20 games over 500 and still don't fill seats. Weird, like the fans don't buy in until October, then it's completely full. Well, I mean, Dingleberry, the attendance last year went up significantly and has been going up the past 2 seasons. You know, we were drawing crowds in 2022 of like barely 20,000 game, and now it's closer to 30 a game. It's ticking up. It's ticking up. And hopefully, you know, David Rubenstein's going to offer the fans more reasons to come out to the ballpark. I think he's working on that. Padres are my squad now, but Baltimore is my childhood team. Got sick of watching my favorite players leave. I hear you, buddy, but, you know, that's too bad because, you know, I had to turn my back on a team I grew up with because of ownership and just disgusting practices. And that owner's finally gone, and now I can go back to beginning to start rooting for them again. So I hear you, but my Orioles, even though, you know, the Angeloses gave us fits, but we've always had great players. We've just always had likable teams. You know, I've never, as bad, you know, I want to say one more time. 1988 was the year I fell in love with this team when they went 0-21. There was something about how bad they were that made me want to just love them more and watch them, you know, get better, you know, and we got such a good team now. We really do. I mean, this is going to be really good baseball, guys. I mean, I know we don't have that ace every 5th day. It's like, oh, so-and-so's pitching today, so this one's in the bag. We're not going to have that luxury until we get an ace or one emerges. It's going to be every day going, boy, I hope such and such has it today. But when it comes to the offense and the defense, you're going to see some of the best damn baseball Major League Baseball has to offer, okay? I'm telling you this. This is the truth. Let me hit this button.
Do you believe in me?
I like the idea of Holiday hitting leadoff. Eventually, I'm open to the idea eventually, absolutely. Because I think Gunnar Henderson, I know it's more in vogue in the recent years to have your best bats at the very, very top of the lineup. I'm still a little bit more old school. I'm a table setter kind of a guy. I want guys with high on base percentage and speed who can get on base and get themselves in a scoring position, stealing a base. And Holiday can do that. Holiday's got the speed. He's stolen 5 bases so far this spring. It took him forever to start attempting to steal in his rookie season. I don't know why. I don't know if he was told to not even try or if he was too timid to do it, but now he's starting to run with some confidence. And yeah, if the average on base and the walks, down in Norfolk and during his journey up to the bigs, he was putting up some very impressive walk numbers. So that's what you want out of a leadoff hitter. Left-handed bat, draws walks, can run, and has pop, but not so much pop like a gunner where you feel like you're wasting a solo shot leading off a ball game because nobody's on base. He'll probably hit more doubles for you, and then Gunner can drive him in. And then Gunner can have more RBI than he is getting from the leadoff spot. Does that make sense? But yeah, for now, it looks like Colton Cowser is probably going to hit leadoff until Gunner's back. And I can kind of understand why Hyde is doing that because Cowser's probably the closest thing to a Gunnar Henderson. Left-handed bat, pop, some speed. And I think Cowser is poised to make a leap, much like Gunnar did between his first and second full seasons, where maybe not to Henderson's level, but I think Cowser can threaten 30 homers and like 20 steals. Like he's got that in him, I think. But all right, what else is going on? Better sign young guys now. Gunnar, Colton, Jackson, Rutschman. Yeah, that's a very, very good point. And I feel like every day that goes by where we don't do that, it's just building this slow tension. Because, yeah, that's what we want to do. I mean, and if Mike Elias, if his philosophy is, like, I don't need to build a team by, like the Yankees or whoever and just go out and splash money on free agent players. I can build a winner through draft and trade. And he did it with Houston. He's built a great team with draft. I don't know so much about some of the trades. But, if your philosophy is build from within, well, then let's lock these players up. Let's lock them up. Especially guys who don't have, what's his face as their Scott Boras as their agent, because that's going to be awfully difficult to get an extension before free agency for anybody who's a Boras client. And unfortunately, Rutschman and Gunnar are Boras clients. Jordan Westberg isn't, though. Lock him up. We've got some Discord activity. If we get Bradish, Wells, and Grayson back, the pitching depth will be awesome. Oh, sure. Yeah, then we get to have a fun time deciding who the best pitchers are and lining them up as best we can. O'Neill in the cleanup spot versus the Blue Jays. Possibly. I don't see him hitting any higher than third. I don't see him hitting any lower than fifth. So 4 would be right in there. Somewhere in there. I think O'Neill is going to hit ahead of Mountcastle for the most part in these lineups. But again, with this history of Ryan Mountcastle against the Blue Jays, I don't mind having Mountie hit higher up in the order just to start the season. Between how hot he was in Florida and how good he is in Toronto in the past, just, put him up in the lineup a couple of spots. Like flip him with O'Neill. But then again, O'Neill on opening day with that 5 straight. But yeah, that's actually as cool of a stat as that is. The last thing I want is Tyler O'Neill coming up to the plate tomorrow and going like, all right, I got to get that 6 straight opening day home run. Like, just don't treat it like that, man. Just try to hit the ball and Wherever it goes, it goes. But don't try to hit a home run because that's bad news. Hey, Chilo's here. How you doing, Chilo? I'm Popeye the Slayer, man.
Ahoy there! Anybody home?
Rob's lineup is Mountcastle, 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 and at the bottom of the order, Mountcastle, Mountcastle, and rounding it out with Mountcastle. That's not bad. Then back home for the Red Sox. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What other questions are we? All right. Well, all right. So, what? Oh, you know what? I forgot to turn on the. This is natural light. I look so pasty white. And then what happened up here to the scoreboard? That changed. Things changed. What happened? Where's my scoreboard? There it is. All right. Why did that happen? Okay. Hey. How you doing? All right. I'm going to go over here and see if there's some other topics. Oh, here's something kind of interesting. So, Locked On Orioles is a Orioles channel, podcast channel, hosted by Connor Newcomb. He does like daily Orioles news and notes, and he's been doing it for a couple of seasons now. I'm a subscriber. I check it out when I can. But he asked a question. He had a stream called Bold Predictions for the Orioles in 2025, and he asked, hey, you people watching, why don't you write down in the comments what your boldest prediction is for the Orioles this season? So I went ahead and put mine in, and I tell you, we can take a look right here. There I am at the top with 13 people liking it. One other guy got 6, and everybody else got like 1 or 2. All right, this guy's got 5. But clearly, there's a 6. So it looks like the next highest, like people going, yeah, I like that take, is maybe 6 people. Your boy, the BirdWatcher, has got the most buzz by saying Cade Povich pitches his way permanently into this rotation, 25-plus starts, leads the team in wins. That's my prediction. Jot it down, okay? And I think it's a bold prediction when you consider that when spring started, Povich was not even considered to be a shot at the rotation. Not even considered a shot. And here I am saying he's going to lead the team in wins. 13 people said, okay, I like that take. What do you guys think? Machine did not make the roster, Chilo. I went over this earlier in the podcast, but just to give you the quick rundown, it looks like Levon Soto's the final infielder and will be with the team until Gunnar gets back, and then Brian Baker has got the final bullpen spot over Matt Bowman. Everything else should be known already in terms of who's on the team and what role they have. Arm wrestling season. Hey, you want me to go over the top then? I like to arm wrestle. I like to drive a truck and I go to arm wrestling competitions for my son. I win money and I win big trucks, and it's a really good movie, and I hope
And I want to thank you very much for that. I really do.
Took me a while to find the lone drop. Speaking of over the top, you know what time it is? Sometimes, you know, it's like a switch. It's like a switch, you know? It's like a switch, you know? It's like a switch. It's like a switch. That movie is so stupid. God, I remember seeing that in the theater with my dad. And I was like maybe 11. So I'm kind of like the same age as the kid in the movie. The like really obnoxious, uptight kid who suddenly grows a pair of balls. Hey, you drive with me. Yeah, look at me. I got a weightlifting. I'm sitting here driving and I'm doing curls. I'm a good father. Got photos of you all over the cab. Yeah. Sorry. Did I go off on a tangent? Yeah. Kay, don't call me Shirley Povich, our number 5 starter. All right, let me get back over here. Enough of that nonsense. That's nonsense. Now that's not nonsense. That's a good look. All right. You guys want to... All right, it's time to build the lineup. Let's build a lineup. Opening day lineup, BW style. All right. What do I need? Like a Google Doc? Google Doc. Build a lineup. Are we building what we want or what we think Brandon Hyde is going to do? What would be more entertaining for you guys? If you want to try to guess the lineup, type guess. If you want to try to make the ideal lineup, type ideal. Does that make sense? And I'll go with whatever the majority is, even though probably 3 of you are going to respond to this. So it's going to be like the first to 2. I don't know. Help me out here, people. This is supposed to be interactive now. Just do both. We got until 3:05. We got 1 guess. We got 1 ideal. And we got 1 both. All right. Ideal. All right. I like ideal. Okay. So that means I get to make BW's lineup. Let's go. BW's lineup. Okay. BW's lineup versus Barrios. And, you know, let's not screw around, you know. All right. Gunnar Henderson. We're going to have Westberg, Urias, O'Neill, Mountcastle. So we're going to have 4 right-handers when we probably would have had 3 if Gunnar was in this lineup. So I want to split these bats up. I still want Jordan. But then Cowser, yeah, I don't. He's going to have. The guess is Cowser is going to hit leadoff. But the desire for me is Westberg. I just think he takes the best at bats. He takes pitches. You know, so even if he doesn't get on for you, he's allowing you to, you know, as other teammates, you know, in that first at bat of the game, he's not going to go down on 3 pitches, you know. Even Gunnar did that from time to time as a leadoff hitter. But we let him, we forgave him for that because of how much he did do when he did something. That was probably the worst sentence structure of all time. Sorry. Bit of a, it's like a switch. Something went off in my brain. So, you know who's coming here. I mean, with the spring he's had and the fact that this has sort of been his spot, you're going to have Adley batting second. Now, this is where you're going to put O'Neill or Mountcastle. And, again, this is ideal. I feel like for opening day in Toronto, I'm putting Mountie there. I just am. The only thing is, I guess Brandon Hyde is like, well, what's that going to do with Tyler O'Neill's, like, confidence or whatever? Is that like a slight against him? You know, like, I want to make everybody happy or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. But, and then this is why I think Cowser belongs in this part of the order, because I saw a ideal lineup from, again, the Locked On Orioles podcast, and they had Cowser batting leadoff, which I understand why. Again, kind of a Gunnar Henderson light sort of a batter, left-handed, pop, speed. But I'm going to break up these right-handed bats against a right-handed starter. So I'm going to put Cowser, who should do quite well here in the cleanup spot, and I'm going to go ahead and put him in right field. And then O'Neill comes in. Left field. Right? We're going to flip it back to a lefty, and we're going to go with Ryan O'Hearn. Couple of Irishmen back-to-back. He'll DH, right? And that leaves Holiday, Urias, and Mullins. Now, I think they're going to hit Mullins above those other two guys, but I would actually go with Holiday here. Probably playing short. I would then put the righty bat in between of Urias, and then I would, excuse me, I guess I have to change this. Westberg probably going to play second. And then wrap it up with, in the 9-hole, your boy Mullins. That gives you a bench of Sanchez, Kjerstad, who I would like to be in the lineup, by the way, but I feel like for opening day, give the veteran Mullins the opening day start. You feel me? Like I'm really on the Kjerstad train in terms of eating into Mullins' playing time a little bit, but for opening day, I'm giving Mullins, the veteran, I'm giving him the start. So Sanchez, Kjerstad, Soto, and Laureano would be your bench. And there's your lineup. So no right-handed bats back-to-back. You only have left-handed bats back-to-back once. So later in ball games, in terms of pitching matchups, when you get those bats split up, they can't go out there. If you got like 3 straight righties or 3 straight lefties, they can't go get that bullpen arm to match up right for those guys. They have to at least go against 1 or 2 guys that they don't want to really face. So what do you guys think? I don't know. Give me a rating 1 to 10, or what would you change with this lineup? Let me know. Like, again, if you want Kjerstad in there, I understand. I'd like to see him in there, but again, I got my reasons for picking Mullins. Maybe you don't want to see Westberg leading off. Maybe you think a left-handed bat should be at the top of the order. Because the way this is structured, it is more right-handed heavy at the top and left-handed heavy at the bottom, which is a little bit reverse. Kilo gives it a 9.9 out of... Well, what could possibly make it a 9.9 and not a 10? There's only so many adjustments that can be made. Why would Westberg not start? Pocket Watch sent a super chat. I'm sorry. Pocket Watch, forgive me. Where's the button? I am so...
Message for you, son.
Pocket Watch says, can't participate tonight, but wanted to show my support. Ready for the season to begin. Go O's. Thank you so much, Pocket Watch.
And I want to thank you very much for that. I really do.
And I hope that you will be here tomorrow for the game, Pocket Watch. You know what's great about tomorrow is that we're playing at the Rogers Center, so no weather problems, no delay, no possibility of a washout, nothing worse than that for opening day, and we don't have to worry about that now, do we? That is bold. I like your prediction. I have to keep reminding myself that we will face. Yeah, we're going to see Santander in a enemy uniform tomorrow. It's going to be weird, but you'll be surprised how quickly, allegiances and what have you can change once things get going, right? I got a feeling as long as he stays healthy and he's not striking out in some like 0 for 20 funk, you guys are really going to like what Tyler O'Neill. I mean, this guy absolutely destroys the baseball. Unfortunately, we're not going to face a lefty until we get back to Baltimore. And the first lefty we get is Garrett Crochet, so that's going to be a test. But Tyler O'Neill last season was the second most dangerous bat against left-handed pitching in all of baseball. In all of baseball. You hear me? Aaron Judge is the only bat that put up bigger numbers like OPS, slugging, OPS plus, however you want to measure it. Aaron Judge was the only player to hit left-handed pitching better than Tyler O'Neill last year. And that's including all the, O'Neill missed like 30 games due to injury. So just imagine if he did stay healthy all season. That's why we went out and got him, folks. This team, we got great left-handed bats to face righties, and now we've got some nice balance with the right-handers in there. Some will be platoon, others will be every day, but I really like how this team is built, and this still doesn't have Samuel Basallo in the mix. Wait till that day comes. I mean, once next year comes, Mullins is probably gone. Bradfield probably slots in. Basallo is probably going to take over for Ryan O'Hearn, who's on the last year of his second year, option year, so he's probably walking. So we've got the natural replacements all ready to go, and then maybe you go out and get one big bat like we did this offseason. Yeah, I mean, this team is built offensively for a long, long time. This window, I know it feels like it's been open a while, and we got to hurry up and win it all, or else it's going to close on us. We got to start winning playoff games. Believe me, I'm not trying to downplay that at all. That's what this is all about, is making a statement in October and turning our fortunes around and making a deep playoff run, hopefully winning a pennant. And from there, for me, it's all gravy. Yeah, I want to win the World Series, but I want a pennant first and foremost. Then I'll talk World Series. Give me a pennant. And also, going back to that lineup, guys. Westberg, Rutschman, Mountie, Cowser, O'Neill, O'Hearn, Holiday, Urias, Mullins. That's a lineup without Gunnar Henderson. That is still a very strong lineup. God, we've got a good lineup. So once Gunnar comes back, Soto is off. Then you move Urias into Soto's spot on the bench. And then Gunnar is now in the lineup. And now we got an extra lefty bat. And he's at the top. Yeah, this is sick. Folks. I made a bold prediction with a colleague of mine. Play-by-play with JJ, folks. Phillies sports YouTube content creator. I told him that the Orioles this season was going to have the second best offense in baseball. At worst. I'll actually give them room to maybe have the number one offense. But I think they have this. I think if it's not the Dodgers, I think it's us. I really, really do. Like, oh, you homer. You delusional. Just swimming in your own lies. No, I'm honestly saying, between what we've seen them do before, what we know what they do when they didn't hit that second half funk last season, they look like the 2023 version, except now a little bit older, a little bit stronger, or a little more polished. This team is going to put up a lot of runs. Going to hit a lot of hard baseballs, a lot of balls leaving the yard. I can't wait. I need a lucky.
I mean, I'm a Lucky Strike fan from way back, so.
Time we got. All right, so we've been on for like an hour and 15. This won't be more than 2 hours, and maybe it'll only be another 15 minutes. We'll figure it out, but somewhere in that range. I'm not trying to make this exhausting for you guys. Remember, I got to get some sleep in. This thing starts at 2 in the morning. My plan is to go to bed at about 8 o'clock tonight, or at least lay down, and set my alarm for like 12:30. Try to get 4.5 hours of sleep. call the game that'll probably end around 6 a.m. Try to get back into bed before the sun's too high in the sky and get a couple of more hours in, and then I've got about 6.5 hours of sleep. I did it. I figured it out. Huh. All right. So what else is left? BW, I want to see your prediction about a very important topic. How many home runs will Cionel Perez catch with his hat this season? I'm going to say, I know this is not an exciting answer, 2. I'll give him 2. What did he have last year? 6? I got my leg up. I hope you don't see it, but I need to get comfortable. What did he have? 6 last year? I'll give him 2. You know, he's like the Zach Hampel of bullpen pitchers, right? Shante, hey, welcome back, Shante. How you been?
Where's your from?
Baltimore.
What?
Baltimore.
Baltimore? What's that?
Look, it doesn't really matter, all right?
Ooh, wow. Welcome back, Shante. Good to see you. It's good to see regulars coming back, getting ready. All right, as promised, I'm gonna attempt to do an interview with my boy Rob because it appears nobody else is interested in this nonsense. Let me see. Oh, El Duderino. Not sure who El Duderino is, but I've waved hello to you. I'm opening up the Talk to BW channel right now, and you guys are going to have to let me know if there's any technical issues once this starts. But Rob, if you want to pop in there, I am ready. Is Rob ready? Rob Bass. It takes 2 to make a thing go right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Rob Bass.
Hello?
Yeah, Rob. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
You sound
What's up?
super excited about opening day tomorrow. I can feel it in your voice. Do you normally get a good night's sleep before opening day, or do you just toss and turn because you're just too damn excited?
Well, I usually try and go to the game, so usually I try and get some good sleep. I'm not going this year.
Have we been getting our first game of the season at home more often than not? I know some teams tend to open at home more often than others, but I don't really keep track of that sort of thing.
I don't think we have. We didn't last season. I don't remember if we did the season before that or not.
Oh. So you mean like the home opener or just opening day? Opening day. I don't know. Whatever. You're not going to Toronto. Right.
Yeah.
Well, what about the Boston series starting Monday? You gonna make it out for the first home series?
Probably not. I might check though. If there's any still available.
Oh, there should still be. Other than opening day, I'm sure. Yeah. After opening day,
Yeah.
April games, there's plenty of seats, especially weekday games.
I'm definitely trying to get out to some though in April.
So, Rob, what is your biggest concern heading into the season? Start there.
Definitely pitching. I think that's really the only problem. But more relief pitching than anything.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because, I've seen a very large range of takes when it comes to the Orioles bullpen. I've seen some people say it's a weak spot. I've seen other people say we've got one of the better bullpens, especially when it comes to guys like Gregory Soto. I hear some people say he's got really nasty stuff and great weapon to have in the pen and can be a high leverage guy. And then you got other people like me who are like, hold on, pump the brakes. I've seen glimpses of that, but in terms of dependable, 4 out of 5 appearances you're shutting your opponent down. I haven't seen that from him yet. What do you think about Soto?
Yeah, I don't really. When I heard Bautista might not have been ready and that we might have had to go to Soto or Sir Anthony, I was not very pleased about that. But the only guys I really trust in the bullpen are Perez, Cano, and Bautista right now. I can't think of any other higher leverage guys.
You can feel pretty good about Keegan Aiken, right? He was pretty dependable last season.
Yeah, Keegan Aiken, Suarez as well if he's in the bullpen for most of the season.
Yeah, Albert. I think Albert is so perfectly suited for that swingman role because that role basically is asking a guy to like spot start once here, come in and pitch 3 innings in a blowout there. Come in late in the game that goes extra innings because we've run out of arms and just pitch 1 inning. Like he can do all those different things. And if you put him in the bullpen as that swingman guy, I think he rises to the occasion by being called upon to sort of fix whatever mess that the Orioles are in. You know what I'm saying? Whereas versus just having a regular spot in the rotation and having like a defined role. That's where we've seen him struggle the most. Would you say that's a decent take?
Yeah, he's definitely our most flexible arm in the pen for sure.
Nice. Who said Sheila's asking? Who said we had one of the better bullpens? Whoever said it hasn't done very good research.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we came in. Well, here's the deal. This might be a factor of the return of Felix Bautista. I mean, obviously that's huge. You're taking Craig Kimbrell's numbers out of the equation from last year's bullpen, and you're replacing it with Felix Bautista. And if you look at the Orioles' 2023 bullpen, when Bautista was closing, Cano was really, really good. We had a very solid bullpen. So I guess it's more of a thought of with the mountain back that just sort of raises everything up a level. But I am concerned about that space, that 6th, 7th inning window where we don't quite get the ball to a guy like Cano or an Aiken yet, and we have to move on from the starter. Have to go to a guy like a Dominguez or a Baker or a Soto or, Perez, for me, it's kind of in the middle. Like, I'm okay with CNL. Like, he's not great. He's not terrible. Anyway, let's see. What else can I ask Rob? Let's see. Yeah, I wrote some other questions there. Now, I made a prediction that Povich would actually wind up with the most wins on the team. Who do you have? Who do you think is going to actually wind up at the end of the season having the best numbers as a starting pitcher on this staff?
I had Grayson, but with him being injured and we're not too sure when he's going to come back, I don't feel too sure about that anymore. So it's definitely either Eflin or Povich. I think if Povich stays on the team throughout the whole season, which I think he definitely can, then I think he would be my favorite for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, Eflin, I think if I weren't going out on a limb with my Povich prediction, I think Eflin would be the sensible pick in terms of wins. Just, as long as he's staying healthy, he's going to make 32 starts. He's going to, have a lot of chances to win. But at the same time, by being the number one, like at least at the beginning of the season, he's going to quite often get matched up against other teams as number one. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for example, next Wednesday, Game 6 of the season against the Red Sox, second game of the series. It's going to be Eflin against Garrett Crochet, the Red Sox ace. He's got to face who Toronto deems as their best pitcher on opening day. You know what I mean? So that might not make it easy for Eflin to rack up the W's. There might be a lot of games where he leaves and it's a no decision. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily that we lose. Sure. Not necessarily that we lose, just that we're facing tough pitchers, and it's the lower the score, the more chances of a no decision. It seems. I don't know. Anyway, all All right, so we got that one. What's chat saying? Here's a question for the chat. How many times will BW rant because of the bullpen? 20 to 25. Is that the over/under for my rant? Well, now what qualifies as a rant? Do I have to curse? Do I have to basically stop calling the game and just scream? Do I have to knock my chair over? Or yeah, something. You know, it's like when the government tried to define pornography like 40 years ago. I believe the quote was, "You just know it when you see it." Right? That's the same with me and my rants. Orioles' secret weapon in 2025, Sagano, says Michael. 162 games, 30 if team is struggling, 15 if they're playing like team we thought they may be, but won't let them off the hook. 30. Oh, you're talking about rants? I love it that people are trying to predict. Like, is anybody going to keep a running tally of my rants then? Like, how are we going to figure this out? Somebody, Dingleberry, are you going to take the responsibility of rant archiving? Because somebody has to do that. All right. What do we got? What can I ask Rob? What can I? Rob, give me a prediction for a Jackson Holiday end of the season stat line. Batting average, homers, RBI, steals. What do you think?
I think he can definitely get his batting average up to like 250, 260, I think, is where he'll be around. I think he'll never really, during the whole season, he'll never really just sit and be okay. I think he'll have big highs and lows throughout the whole season.
Freaky, yeah.
As we kind of saw last season when he came up the second time. I think he can probably get 15 to 20 home runs, maybe a little more. And steals, I think, man, I want to say 30 to 40.
Ooh, man, that would be.
I want to say that we'll start running a lot more this season. That's what I want to see, personally, at least. But,
well, we definitely saw in the spring that there was a focus on guys trying to steal basically in every situation with a guy at first, and
yeah,
a lot of them. Particularly, was it Luis Vasquez? There was that one game where he got caught like 20 feet before he got to the bag. It was bad. But yeah, Jackson definitely looks like he's focused on running more this season. I definitely have him in like at least 25 steals. I think 40 is a lot. I'll give him 30. I think he can push for 30. A lot of it will depend on how many chances he'll have to face left-handed pitching. He was very, very bad. Even when he was going good during those stretches of good last year, still couldn't hit lefties. So I got a feeling Arias is going to start for Holiday against lefties the vast majority of the time. That's going to eat into his at-bats, so not going to hurt his averages. In fact, it's actually going to probably help his averages, not facing the lefties. But for total numbers like homers and RBI and steals, that might take a hit because of the fact that he might be on the bench for 40 games, something like that. So I'm going to put it at I'm going to give him a 2020 season, despite the fact that I think he's probably not going to get to 500 at bats. I'm going to give him 22 homers, 25 steals. I'm going to give him like a 265 average. And I think the walks are going to see a bump up. They have to bump up. They weren't really there for him that first time around compared to what he was doing in the minors. So if that eye level gets better and that 260 average can add another 60 points, like a 320 on base, which, by the way, is slightly higher than Anthony Santander last year. Yeah, I'll put him about there, about 320 on base. Yeah. Yeah. And if we can
Yeah, I like that.
if we can get his OPS anything over like 725, I mean, if he's sitting in the bottom part of the order, anything if it's 800 or more, then we've had a great year from Jack. If as long as it's like 725, 750, then he's that part of the order he's gonna help the team. You know what I am worried about though on opening day, is that he's playing shortstop. I know that's the position that he was groomed to play. So we converted him to second base in spring training last. But fact is, since spring training last season, second base is what he knows, and we saw him play shortstop. Remember that one throw he made, Rob? That just
Yeah.
that one throw was like it looked like a guy that thought he was still at second base. Like, oh, I only have to throw the ball like 25 feet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it is muscle memory. That's the one thing when it comes to switching positions in the infield. It's like you're used to going, all right, I field the ball here. I've got this much time. I got to put this much zip on the ball. And it just felt like when I saw Jackson make a couple of plays at short, it just felt like he was still in second base mode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I really did not like what I saw from a shortstop from him.
So that's going to be something to monitor, but we really don't. I mean, it's either him or Soto. We can't put Westberg there. We tried it a couple of times since he's been with the team. He's not looked good there. Arias, it's the same. He's done it before, but it's you're going to have to between the three go with Holiday. But maybe again that might be another reason why Livan Soto gets at least one start in this series because he can play short and his defense is pretty solid. So. All right, so that's the holiday talk. Let's see. Let me check back in with the chat here, see if there's any. The hat says focus on small ball in 2025. Yeah, this team is built to mash, but when it comes to situations, you're down a run, you get a leadoff double, you got to move the guy over. That's your number one priority. Get him over and then get him in. And then, if you add on top of that, that's great. It's gravy. You still have that chance. But if you pop out or whatever or strike out because you're trying to, swing for the fences in a situation like that, and now there's one out runner at second, now you can't just move him over. Now you have to rely on a base hit. It's just, you got to be able to adjust. You can't just have this one-track mind when it comes to an offensive philosophy. You got to have a little bit of wiggle room for situation. That's why it's called situational hitting. There's a frickin' phrase for it. Am I right, Rob?
Yeah. That lack of small ball always pissed me off last season.
And it was just, and you heard me calling it, like, in the game, like, as it's happening. I'm like, why aren't we bunting here? What? Why aren't we bunting here? Or, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I'd like to see us just be smarter and execute sometimes things that are fundamentals. Again, it doesn't you can score runs without getting the hit. Just gotta move them over and get them in. This season Bradfield gets on the team the season Bradfield gets on the team is the season where we'll see a lot. Yeah, Bradfield looks ready to be a 50 stolen base guy. And really forward to that. Bet Mateo beats Mullins in the 40-yard dash. I think Mateo is considered the fastest guy on the team. So, plus, I think Mullins has lost maybe half a step since, a few years back when he was like a 30. And Mullins is still fast, don't get me wrong. But Mateo is faster. A little bit faster. I agree on Jackson, BW. Ready for the season. If pitcher can't hold on runners and catcher can't hit water if he fell out of a boat, then steal more bases, take chances. Yeah, speaking of pitchers that can't hold runners, one thing I'm not going to miss about No More Corbin Burns is sitting there and watching people run all over him. That was really annoying last year. Yeah, I think small ball is going to make or break us this year. We kind of saw that in the playoffs. Yeah, Timothus, again, like that's a great point about the playoffs, because once you get into the playoffs, everything is about adjusting to situations, because it's so it's everything is on the line. It's in a 162 game season, you can try this philosophy, this strategy, and if it works or it doesn't work, you win or lose, and it's not necessarily deciding your fate. But come playoff time, you got to be ready to do what the situation asks for, and we did not show that neither last year or in 2023 against the Rangers. So. Good points, guys. Good points. Am I ranting? Does this count as the first rant? It's not the bullpen. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Dingleberry's saying their start of one rant, but it's not the. You said bullpen rant. You're not fair. Yeah. Hey, Katron's here. How you doing, Katron? Thanks for stopping in. I wish I could give away some more Magic memberships, but I don't have any to give away until the calendar flips to April. But yeah, Katron, it's the eve before the regular season. We're just hanging out. It's already been an hour and a half. Probably needing to wrap this up pretty soon. But before I let off Rob, and Rob, this isn't because I'm not enjoying talking to you. It's just I want to give other people the opportunity and get a little bit of a mix of opinions. Anybody else want to join in on the discussion on the Discord? Because this is sort of a last chance to do it for the stream. Hey, Lou. My good friend Lou is here, folks.
Thank God I'm a country boy.
Hey, everybody, we're all going to get laid.
There's my buddy Lou. Lou, looking forward to the season. The place to be for insight. That's right. And rants. Don't forget the rants. A lot of rants. I think since Camden is becoming home run friendly, players are trying to go deep, and maybe they should be. Well, I don't know, Dingleberry. I actually kind of think the opposite. I think right-handed hitters going to left field, because it was so far and it was really starting to get into the minds of the players, that now, like, if they just take regular swings and they're watching the ball just fly, I don't know. I think I'm not worried about that. I hear what you're saying, but I'm not worried about it. Their swings. Sorry, guys. Fingers are going nutty. Oh, yeah. No worry. Be careful with your fingers, Dingleberry. With a name like that, I'm worried about your fingers. Okay. When you are an O's fan, you have rants. Yeah, among other things. Rants are us. What's the new distance in left field? Gee. I don't know. The dimensions are posted somewhere. Might be able to find it if you give me a sec. But, it's about 8 to 10 feet farther in. And then the wall's also shorter by about a couple of feet. But it'd probably take me 5 minutes to look up the actual dimension. There's like a computer graphic that's got all the little, how deep each little segment of the wall is. But I don't know where to retrieve it. Do you, Rob?
It says it's about 333 now.
What to where?
To left.
Well, I mean, down the foul line?
Left field line, 333.
Yeah,
straightaway left is 373.
Okay, because down the left field line is still the same. From the foul pole to that first advertising you see on the wall, that maybe 8-foot little area where the wall sort of goes upward, that didn't change. That distance is still the same. It's only where the advertising, where that first. Let me see where that. If I open this up, I think I can see it better. Yeah, it was 373, just 10 feet to the right of the foul pole. That's how far back it was. So 333 down the line. It was 40 feet back, just maybe 10 feet to the right of the left field foul line. And now that's been brought in at least 10 feet. And like you're saying, 370.
It says.
Go ahead.
It says here it's been moved up in some spots by 20 feet.
Wow, as much as 20 feet. As much as 20 feet, folks. Ryan Mountcastle is going to be loving life this season. I got a feeling.
O'Neal is a righty too, right?
Yes. Although he's got the kind of power where, honestly, I think it's advantageous for a guy like him to have a deep wall because he can reach it when others can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, for guys like Westberg, I think he'll get a couple more home runs this way. Gunner going opposite field. That's going to drop in there. A couple of more. So, yeah, my boy Lou, by the way, folks, lives right down the street from RFK. I'm so jealous. I've always wanted to live right next to a major league ballpark or stadium where I could just walk out and go to the game, you know, be right in the neighborhood for all that stuff. When I was a kid and my dad would drive us up, you know, toward 33rd Street and we'd be in the neighborhoods there, the row houses. You know, we'd find a place to park and walk through the neighborhood and got vendors and, you know, just this community feeling as you're walking through, you know, residential neighborhoods to get to the ballpark. I like that. Versus like when I went to the Phillies game, my last major league attended game, 2015. You know, it's just one giant parking lot. Just, what is this? There's nothing around. But anyway, I digress. Skins fan until they took their name away. Sox storied franchise burgundy and gold. Till you're dead and old. Okay, yeah. Commanders. You know, I can watch them again. I'm still not really a huge NFL fan, but I can watch it. Katron works 3 blocks from Camden Yards. You know what? Why you gotta rub it in, Katron? And find me a place out there. If you're working like in an office building, every office building in a downtown city has got unused space. So find me a corner of the building with an empty room, and then I'll move in there and I'll do my channel from there, and I'll just I need living space and workspace in your building for free. That's what I need. RFK is getting torn down, but my thing is, are they planning on building a new stadium there? Because last I checked, everyone's ready to get the hell out of FedEx Field or whatever it's called and move the team back into the city limits. And that spot seems like the perfect place. You got a lot of open area around there. But I understand that, you know, if they were going to bring the team back, they do need a new. I am not talking about Orioles baseball, am I? I digress. All right, let's see. Is there anything else I want to go over before signing off? Don't you know? Final chance for questions, comments, observations, predictions. What do you guys got? Might be time for me to go get some breakfast. Rob, you got anything you want to? I don't know. What do you think, Rob?
No. Who do you think will have the most strikeouts from the team?
From the pitching side?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Eflin's not really a strikeout pitcher. Morton's not.
We don't really have any strikeout guys.
We don't really. Jeez. God. Bautista? Somehow,
yeah, maybe.
Somehow in 50
that would
innings,
be crazy.
Now in 50 innings, he leads a team in strikeouts. For real.
I'm still picking Grayson, even though he's injured.
Yeah, I'm not rolling him out. I'm factoring that in as a week. I can't wait. I can't spend too long contemplating. Good for. I'm gonna say Eflin. No, it's really not a whole lot to it, but not even a strikeout pitcher. But I think he's gonna make plus starts and gonna get over the line.
Yeah.
Well, that you know what that question did is scare me into thinking, holy cow, we don't have guys that strike. A lot of balls put into play, and if you're not keeping them on the ground, get ugly fast, especially a couple of guys, Gano, who we haven't yet in Major League play, and Morton, who we don't know if he's going to hold up at an age 41 season. Saw him get hit hard the last time out in spring. Ouch, ouch. I don't want any more negativity. I'm fine. Yeah, BW, I try to root for home team here. Pittsburgh is 4 hours, Philly 2, Landover 55 minutes, Camden 45 to 60. Well, damn, you're almost doxing yourself, Dingleberry. I'm triangulating exactly where you live right now. I can just type all this info into Google and it'll tell me what house you got. What to do? Well, damn, GM didn't pick up a frontline starter like BW mentioned earlier in this month. Well, I mean, the only way we could have done it is through trade. And honestly, when the Yankees had Luis Gil and Garrett Cole go down, and suddenly you saw rumors about them trading for Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins, that's when I got upset. It's like, okay, so there is a frontline starter available via trade. Let's go get that guy. We need that guy, and we need him twice as much because if we don't get that guy, he's going to go to our direct competition, right? Very simple. But the fact is, the Yankees, their solution to adding to their pitching depth now is Ryan Yarbrough, a lefty junk baller. This guy is a junk baller. This guy makes Jamie Moyer look like Randy Johnson, all right? So I'm not so upset that we didn't figure out a way to get a frontline starter in. Now, once July gets here and some teams out there are eliminated from contention and they want to, reset and sell off a guy, I can see the Cardinals putting Sonny Gray out there. I know he's up there in age, but if we're just looking for a guy to be a down-the-stretch starter, I think Sonny Gray might be a guy that could finish with us, although I think he's got additional years on his contract. I don't know if we want to pick that up. Shane McClanahan was sort of a dream pick, but he's gotten injured, I think, with the Rays in spring. So he's not fit right now, and who knows what status will be like for him come mid-season, but that's the guy, Pablo Lopez. The Twins apparently are looking to sell the team, and whenever that is happening, typically they're ready to, get rid of some big contracts. So I could see Pablo Lopez still being available, especially if the Twins aren't looking so good in the mid-season. The Mariners, I don't get it. They've got a plethora of starters while they desperately need bats in the offense, and it's like they just refuse to do it. Like it's impressive. Their rotation is extremely impressive. Their number 4 could be a number 1 on a lot of teams. But there's a reason why they still can't be a playoff team. It's the offense. So we've got more offense than we can use, I feel, and they've got the same issue with the pitching. Why can't we make a trade? I don't know. Yeah, Yarborough throws like slower and slowest. Be very interested to see how Japanese guy, he has a name, Tomoyuki Sagano, works out. I remember Koji Uhara, he was a bunch of talk. Yeah, well, you have to admit, Dingleberry, if there's one thing about Sagano, it's that there's been virtually no hype for this guy, despite the fact that when you look at what he's done in Japan in his career, there ought to be some hype. But we saw something pretty similar last season when the Cubs went out and got Shota Imanaga. Everybody else was clamoring over the Dodgers getting Yamamoto. All right. Everybody wanted to talk Yamamoto. Nobody wanted to talk about Imanaga, and Imanaga had the better season. Imanaga was like Cy Young Award candidate. He was fantastic. And the only reason is age. Now, I know Imanaga's like 4 years younger than Sagano. He's still in his 30s, though. But I feel like this season we could see something similar where everybody's talking about Roki Sasaki, the great young Japanese pitcher, and man, who's going to win the lottery with this guy? He's just, that one pitch he's throwing, that's unhittable. He's nasty. He's filthy. And nobody's talking about Sagano. No, not that he deserves the kind of hype that they're giving a guy like Sasaki, but I mean, the guy has got a pretty good resume. I don't think he's coming over here to embarrass himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's accomplished enough where this is like sort of like sort of a passion. It's a lot of these players from Japan, before once Ichiro sort of broke the mold, they want to come over here and prove something. You know what I mean? This is a place for a guy that's done it all in Japan to come over and prove something. That's what Sagano is going to try to do for us. I hope he stays healthy. I hope his command is as good as his track record has shown it to be, because if so, then it's not so bad that he doesn't, blow batters away with his stuff. It's really more about location, getting weak contact, relying on our defense, which is okay. Unlike most contemporary analytical minds with baseball, I don't put as much emphasis on strikeouts and stuff, quote unquote. I use the eye test for pitching, and I'm looking for guys that just know how to get guys out. However they go about doing it. And if inducing weak contact is what you are able to do because your pitches are just slightly moving and the bats are never quite barreling it up, then you can win that way. You can be very effective that way. You don't have to strike everybody out. Let's see. Are hitters from Japan nearly as talented as hitters in no clue here? Well, obviously not, Dingleberry, but everything is relative to comparing to your contemporaries around you. In other words, yeah, was Sagano facing hitters the talent level of major league hitters? No, but neither was any of the other pitchers in Japan, and he dominated compared to all those other pitchers. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was the best. We're hoping it translates. It's not going to translate automatically like it's the same league. Like, again, his ERA last season was like $1.76 or something insane. Not going to happen here. But with numbers that good, if he adds a run to that ERA and it's 2.67, that would be amazing. I still think it's going to be higher than that. If it's mid threes, that would mean his ERA basically doubles. But a mid 3 ERA in this rotation, getting us 6 innings more often than not, I think we'll be fine with the offense we have. All right. Remember the Yankees had a hell of a batter from Japan. He hit was very good. At Matsui? Talking about Hideki Matsui? Yeah, he hit everybody. He was a great hitter. Good clutch bat. Man, he was really clutch. God. He annoyed me. Will finance his way through lineup. Be fun to see how he does if Morton. What? All right, I'm having trouble processing that. All right, I think it's time to Rob, you got anything else? You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't got anything.
I got nothing. All right, Rob, you're not texting any attack plans on a open thread chain right now or anything, right?
No.
All right, just making sure. Want to make sure things are safe and sound here for opening day. Imagine that. Imagine right now Brandon Hyde and Mike Elias are having an open chat talking about strategizing against the Blue Jays. And it's going to get leaked before the game tomorrow. It's going to ruin everything. The defense will need to be ready with our starting rotation. Hope the guys play. Yeah, that's, I think, me and Rob talking about the lack of strikeouts. That sort of underlines the need to have a very sound defense because, balls are going to get put into play. And we gotta be good at fielding them. I'm nervous about Holiday at short. I don't want to imagine that jerk either. Elias is a bum. Oh, then what? Then I'm whatever is like 20 degrees below a bum. Because, I haven't built winning teams like the Astros with their 7 straight ALCS appearances. He built that team, I mean, the Mike Elias hate is really weird to me. I mean, I remember a lot of GMs the Orioles have had over the years, and I would put Elias at the top part of that list. Maybe not number 1, but maybe Pat Gillick. I don't know who. I don't know. Whatever. Team that cheated. Yeah, the 1 year. So you're saying the other 6 seasons in a row that they made the ALCS where there wasn't cheating, that doesn't count either? Elias just built a team that cheated. Okay. That sounds like a very even-keeled opinion. Doesn't sound like an emotionally driven opinion at all. What about Terry Crowley? What do you got about Terry Crowley? Or as you say, Terry Crow. The Crow. What you got, Dingleberry? I need to get out of here, man. He speaks very badly of them. Okay. And? All right, well, if Terry Crowley says Houston, then all right, throw Houston. I don't even know. When did I support the... All I'm saying is Elias. Are you telling me Kyle Tucker's a bad player? Are you telling me Alex Bregman's a bad player? Are you telling... I mean, Yordan Alvarez sucks. I mean, he drafted these guys. Right? He built that team. Whether or not they banged on some trash cans, not really Mike Elias's call. Right? I'm so pumped for Thursday, ready to get 2025 underway. Looking forward to chatting and watching games with everybody. Yeah, you know what, Michael? That might be the perfect comment to go out on. Hey, Rob, thank you for being a lone, courageous soul to have a conversation with me. I don't know if this will ever catch on. This concept of... Because I would love post-game to have people on and discuss, game going forward. We've got a way to do it. Maybe we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually. People will get more comfortable. I mean, Rob's already... Aren't you getting more comfortable than when we were on the very first time? I think I made it last season, Rob. Already a brief.
Yeah.
We're hanging out. All right, Rob. I'm going to disconnect. Wrap up the stream. So, bye to Rob on the call. Thank you.
Thank you. See you.
I will be here tomorrow in the chat. Mods. One of our very... Why does that keep changing up? Doing that. That's better. So, folks, my hat is you. That's going to do it for our opening day eve hangout. Thanks for hanging out. I guess that's a little redundant, but still true. Tomorrow, baseball returns, folks. The Baltimore Orioles have not won a World Series or a pennant since 1983. It has been 42 years. 42 years. I don't want it to be 43 or 44. I want a pennant. I want it. This team has now been in Baltimore for 71 years. Okay? And we've waited now 42 since the last pennant. So more than half the time of our existence now has been spent waiting to do what we used to do with a little bit of regularity. Win. And I'm not getting any younger, folks. Okay? That's what this channel is all about. I am here to document the Baltimore Orioles and their return to glory, because it's going to happen in this window with this team. Is it going to be this year? We're going to wait and find out, but it's going to happen in the coming years. Hopefully multiple times. I'm going to be here. Damn it. Because, I've been patient. I've been very, very patient with my team. The longer you wait, you look. I had a good friend named Paul, who unfortunately passed away about 11, 12 years ago, but he was a Red Sox fan. We were good friends back in the early 2000s, working at the same nightclub. We loved baseball, and we loved sort of, ribbing each other because he's a Sox fan and I'm an Orioles fan. But at that time, the Red Sox were still mired in that curse of the Bambino, 80-something years without a World Series. And what was it, 2004 or 2005, that Boston finally got that curse lifted. And the amount of euphoria that I got to see my buddy Paul experience from a lifetime of just waiting for his team to win it. It's a moment and it's an emotion that can't be matched. You can't match it. If you love baseball, there's no better feeling. And the longer you got to wait for it, the more powerful that feeling is going to be. So, yeah, it stinks that the Orioles have had one of the worst regular season records in the 21st century. We've had a lot of bad teams. And, we've been the butt of a lot of jokes in some of these bad seasons. I'm done with that. We got new ownership. Got a great young team. It's a whole new generation. It's time. So that's my pep talk. I know we aren't a perfect roster. I know we need that frontline starter come playoff time. I get it, folks, but all I ask of my fellow bird watchers out there is one thing once this started, and because I know what you're going to be thinking. It's going to be the same thing that I'm thinking, which is, it's great. We're doing good. We're 10 games over 500. Now we're 15 games over 500. Now it looks like we're going to make the playoffs. But all these 162 games really don't mean a thing unless we go into October and start winning in the postseason. Because if it's the same story as the last 2 years, that kind of disappointment is just too much to bear. But I just don't want that hanging over our heads for 6 months, guys. We're going to have 6 months of baseball. And if we spend every one of those days worrying about what is going to happen in October, then you're going to let this season that's going to be full of great moments and highs and lows and fun times and frustrating times, like all that is just you're gonna cheapen it if you're just thinking ahead to October. Try to enjoy the season, okay? Baseball's a beautiful game. We've got a very talented team, and I think you're going to enjoy watching the Orioles with that kind of mentality, okay? Support the team. When the time comes, to sound the klaxon and be like, whoa, 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 Brandon Hyde, that is not acceptable. Or, hey, you, Why weren't you hustling down the line? You could have beat out that double play ball, and you weren't hustling. We got to do something. Hey, you, stinking it up in the bullpen. Let's make a move. All right, you got to go. You saw me last year do it. You knew when I said enough of Craig Kimbrell. So I'm not the kind of person that's just going to sit there and blindly support everything Baltimore does. I don't do that, all right? But you want to have a default setting of optimism. You want that to be the default setting. And then when things are proven to go the wrong way or are clearly, bad direction, sound off. You should. All right? But just my advice, I think you're going to enjoy baseball a little bit better that way. I say this, by the way, because I'm trying to convince myself the exact same thing, because it's very difficult to not look ahead to October and just so hopeful that this team can finally start winning in the playoffs and try to win a pennant, because that's what we're here for. All right, that's it. 2 hours just talking Orioles on the night before the season even starts. As you can see on the bottom of your screen, 2:55 p.m. Eastern, I will be on the air, which for me will be 1:55 a.m. Got about, 13 hours? Something like that. Find some sleep. I was considering going to the barber today and get a nice cut and shave and everything. My hair is all matted. So I could look extra dapper for opening day. Haven't decided whether or not I'm going to do that. So if I wind up flaking out and looking as unkempt as I do right now, don't hold it against me. We're here for the Orioles, not me. More self-conscious about all of it because now I'm face looking at this. All right. That's going to do it for me. One more look at that traffic cone uniform there. Look at that. Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Charm City Chat. Dingleberry, Michael, Lewis, Shante. Everybody else that was here earlier that probably split. I can tell by who's left in the chat that I probably should have signed off a half hour. I'm too excited because the next time I hit the start stream button, it means Orioles baseball for real in about 13 hours. I'll see you then, folks. Until then, this has been the Birdwatcher. Have a good night. Try to get some sleep. Get ready for 6 months plus. The best damn sport on the planet. Pat says goodbye. See ya.